So, back to clearing my hard drive again. Last time I did this was in the um, high school stream, and now I'm gonna be talking about what was that? What did I say I was gonna talk about? Hold up, I gotta check that. I gotta check my notes in that video. This is like, this is actually how I blew up on YouTube originally. I never like really stated how I did it because it's kind of weird, but legit like the way I blew up was I had a bunch of different channels, um, and I would record footage. I would record a ton of footage, and after I edited that footage, I would delete the footage and upload the video onto YouTube. And there have been times when I was younger, when I had made a lot more offensive content, a lot of YTPs, a lot of stuff that was copyrighted, that people would just take down the videos and I'd lose them forever. I've lost quite a few videos. I've lost maybe like 300 to 400 videos, like forever, that I just lost the time. So I was like, okay, I need to save all this footage somewhere. I tried so many different solutions. None of them worked out. I tried to cheese the crash plan system. There was I remember at the time, even Amazon offered unlimited cloud storage. And then I was like, all right, bet I'm going to do it. And it was way too slow. And then like shortly afterwards, they canceled their unlimited cloud storage thing. I tried to set up different, I tried to buy like from jank like salespeople like Shopee or Celix stores on like auto buy stores. I tried to buy like unlimited Google Drive partitions, and I lost videos that way too because every time I would buy one of these partitions, it would get deleted. It would get like I would have my permissions revoked from it and things like that, because they were like schools or institutions that owned them, and it was just some dude in there just making money by doing that, by like screwing over their institutions and also screwing over the person who's buying it. I fell for that. I got scammed right there quite a bit. But eventually I'm like, you know what? Even though uploading videos to YouTube significantly reduces the quality of it, it'll cut the bitrate big time, regardless of that. If I just want videos just as a backup, right? Just to store like a mass quantity of storage, just to keep as, oh, if I lose this video, I know I can get it back, you know? Maybe not same quality, maybe 720p, 480p, whatever, but at least it's still there. At least it's better than nothing. So my solution was take all my raw footage, unedited, uncut, unfiltered, from start to finish. No, nothing done to the audio, nothing done to the video, no, nothing. It would just go straight from the camera onto YouTube. And that's what I did. And I made the videos public just because, you know, because I was just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticked or stuck. And what had happened is, like, I did this in like summer of I don't remember, summer of 2016. Yeah, no, wait, 2015. No, I did it earlier, but summer of 2016 is when I did this. So I set up a sheet, a Google Sheet or whatever, and in that Google Sheet I wanted to do some web scraping. I wanted to do some back-end work where it would go in to all my YouTube channels. It would use like a token to log into them. I was like trying to learn how to code back then. I was like 16 in 2016. I was 16, and I didn't know anything about this. But I'm like, all right, cool. I want to set up charts and whatnot so I can track the analytics of all my channels without needing to go through the YouTube Studio and constantly click lifetime rather than 28 days every single time. And I want to be able to compare my channels. Basically, I want to be able to know what's working, what's not working. So I set up like a very rudimentary web scraping thing, and I looked and I noticed my throwaway channel, the channel that I was using for my backups, had 600 subscribers out of nowhere. It was like the most garbage content ever. It was like, you know what it was? It was like if you took an IRL streamer and you uploaded their VODs in their entirety. That's what my channel was. That's how I know I'm going to be good at IRL streaming. Because when I wasn't even trying, I was getting more subs than people who try do. And I was like, holy shit, like I'm looking at this pie chart. This channel that I didn't even put any effort into is getting way, it's never what you expect. It's never what you expect, but it took up such a huge chunk of my subscribers and viewers, particularly viewers. I was getting hella views on it. And it was just all content that I didn't need anymore. In fact, ever since that day, I've never had a situation where a video has been taken down from me, where I needed to go back and find the old footage for. Like, that's never happened since then. If anything, that's like fate. But that's how I did it. That's how I blew up, and I started a hard focus on that channel. And I was like, you know what? Full authenticity. Let's go all in, right? None of this scripted BS. I did that. I basically did I pulled like a Ziz type personality. And that's like what I do now on stream pretty much. Like this kind of content that I'm doing right now, it was much more exciting than this. This is very tame. I'm not going hard right now. I'll let y'all know when I do, but right now, actually I'll forget when I do, but I'm gonna ease into it. Right now I'm like taking it easy for a bit because I got other priorities. Like I'm trying to make some money first and stuff like that. Back then that was not a concern, so I could hard focus all my attention on YouTube. And like within a few months, I had like 10K subs. By the time junior year of high school started, like this first semester of junior year of high school started, I had a little over 10K subs, and it just kept on going. Like there was no end in sight until there was an end in sight, which was the copyright. But bro, you know how that happened? Legit, like it's so stupid. I made a YTP of a trailer of Finding Dory. That was my downfall on YouTube. That was it. Legit, if I didn't do that, I would have retired by my 18th birthday. I was on track. I was 16 years old, gonna turn 17 in a couple of months, and I was on track to make $1,700 that next month by YouTube. It was gonna be my biggest month. The month before, I'd made like $1,200. But that's a living for me, even right now. I'm 22 years old, and even with all my expenses right now, and I have way more, that's still a living for me. $1,000 a month is a living. That would have been insane. I would have retired by the time I was 18. But I made a YTP, and I overblew it. Like when I talked to people about it, I was like, I just used frames of. No, it was fair use. It was 100% fair use. But I had done a lot of copyright stuff before, and I had already had strikes. I had already had community guideline strikes, and I'd stopped uploading for a while, so my channel was already not doing so great. I was getting the majority of my viewers from recommended and search rather than subscriptions. So every time I uploaded, I would get less and less viewers on the new videos, but the old videos were popping off, dude. 400K, 500K, 600K, 700K consistently on the older videos. And there was no end in sight for them. And then I got hit with the copyright strike from Disney, and then I got hit with a community guideline strike for uploading violent content. And then I got hit with another copyright strike from Ugly God. And then I got hit with another community guideline strike. This is all like within the span of like 3 days. Legit like 3 days. I got hit with another community guideline strike because they scanned my previous videos and they found that I had privated videos from 2013. And it was like offensive stuff. And they were like, nah, these jokes, nah, too far. Even though they were fine back then, too far now. Like, bro, the jokes that were said, by the way, I'm the one who should have been offended by those jokes. Like, stop being offended on my behalf. I want these jokes. It's idiotic censorship. The censorship, Mark Twain said, he said, censorship is like telling a man he can't have a steak because a baby can't chew it. So at that point, I had 2 copyright strikes and 2 community guideline strikes. So I was pushing it. So I privated all my videos so I wouldn't get any more strikes. and I lost 1,000 subs in the first 2 weeks that I'd privated all my videos. So, like the moment a strike would get lifted is the moment I would start to upload more videos. And it would happen over and over again throughout when I was 17 and 18. And every single time I would go back and upload videos and unprivate them, bam, more strikes. Community guideline strike for bullying and harassment. It was absolute garbage. A copyright strike from Eminem's team. A community guideline strike for child endangerment, which is not, all this stuff was complete nonsense. I posted a meme of a kid smoking a blunt. The kid wasn't even smoking a blunt. It was a fake blunt. And I got in trouble for like showing minors doing illegal activities or whatever, something like that. And then the major hit was like Viacom took down my video by SpongeBob, which is like, bro, Viacom has taken down so many of my SpongeBob videos, but this one was like, this was my first video to ever hit 1 million views, and it was actually enjoyable. Like, this was a genuinely enjoyable video. But by the end of it, I hated the video. Like, it was not like this was the, I was still pushing it. I was still getting good views. But after this experience, it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. It just like, it like killed my motivation so much. And like, that's how all of this started. Like, that whole journey of like such an insane struggle, like if that never happened, if that whole copyright stuff, if that never happened, all because of Disney and Viacom in particular and Activision, but if none of that stuff happened, I would have been out here streaming with Ludwig. I would have been out here invading Discord with Call Me Carson. I would have been out here playing games at FaZe, like vlogging with Gideon and all them. Like, I never would have worried about money in my life. I mean, who knows what would happen, right? Force majeure. You never know what could happen. So another crazy event could have transpired afterwards that didn't happen in that timeline, but would have changed things completely and made things even worse. But I've seen how this sort of thing goes, and I've seen how my peers have done it the same way I did it. I would have never worried about money after that point, like in my life. It's so crazy. Okay, so that's literally what I'm doing right now, is I'm just taking out stuff in my hard drive. I don't have much left. I had a lot of stuff back then, and I'm going to get back to it. But instead of uploading all my raw footage, I'm just going to stream it and then edit those streams into my videos. So it's raw footage directly to YouTube or to Twitch. But yeah, that's how I blew up on YouTube, basically. Was I didn't necessarily care about what I uploaded. I just uploaded, and I just saw what worked. No insecurity. That was the only channel I wasn't insecure about uploading about. Every other channel was like, okay, do I do this? Do I do that? Every other channel, I thought about it. This channel, I didn't think. I just uploaded, and it worked out. But now, okay, I still got to clear my hard drive, because I got a lot of stuff on here that I want to get rid of just to clear out space for games and stuff like that. But let's see. I said I was going to talk about the Illuma and Camp Mosaic stuff, because I got videos on my channel, which are like prologues to that. So, Camp Mosaic and Illuma. Damn, I did forget a lot of stuff about that, because I tried to remember it earlier. But I guess the more time that goes by, the more I'll forget. So, I'll start with Mosaic. Camp Mosaic, if you guys don't know, let me actually go into this website right here. Let me. Camp Mosaic. So this is it right here. Yeah, is this it? Yeah, this is it. I remember this. I was not, I don't remember like this, like any of these people. Atlanta, let's see. I wonder if there's any pictures oh, they're doing it online now, yeah. Stupid. That sucks. But yeah, it's a really really like genuinely Camp Mosaic, Atlanta. All right, yeah. So I'll start with Mosaic and then I'll go to Illuma, or then I'll talk about Illuma. So this is in a smiley camp. See, smiley right here, which means only people in the community, only people who are a smiley, can actually go to the camp. It's like a pretty close, like it's a religion actually. That's what it is. And I went there as a participant a few times. My memories are really, really fuzzy of when I was a participant. I remember on the ride there, we would see like Volkswagen Beetles occasionally, and we would do that punch buggy thing. And by the end of the camp, like both of my arms were completely bruised up, and like both the girls who rode with me, both of their arms and legs were completely bruised up. Like I wasn't like super. I was weak, but we were little kids. We couldn't do much harm to each other, but I was on the fucking lookout, bro. I was keeping watch like a sniper for those punch buggy opportunities. I remember the magic juice and stuff. This is all when I was a participant, like the chants and all that. I remember getting into trouble a lot. I remember them making us take really cold showers. That's what I remember very distinctly. The dude had like the shower head, and he would like spray it at us when we got out of the pool, and he would like drench us in cold water. It was traumatic. So my mom told me to sign up to be a guide for Mosaic. I believe if you want to be a counselor, you have to be like 16 or older. Like that's a minimum age, but like you can be like a guide at up to like 17 to like 15 to 17 or whatever, something like that. So it just seemed more fitting that I become a guide. Also because being a guide is typically seen as easier, even though it's actually not. In the camp, you go to the camp, it's not. You'd rather be a counselor. But I applied as a guide, and then, like, so the guides are like assistants, okay? Counselors are counselors, like they are in every camp. But these guides, like there's guides for activities, like the sports, food guide, the guide for handling logistics. There's like a few of those. There's guides that deal with each group, that deal with like specific activities, breaking boundaries and whatnot, that handle all that stuff. They got a lot of like cleaning and stuff to do. Like it's the majority of the guides have really boring jobs. A lot of like some of them have to like do like paperwork and stuff like that. I kind of lucked out with my position. I was the swim guide, which is like that's actually the best position to have in like not even counselor. Swim guide is the best position to have if you're going to Mosaic. So some counselors, there's counselors and there's guides in everything in general. So some counselors were Azra, Moladina, and Juju, aka Junaid. And Junaid lived in a different state at the time. He moved to Atlanta after that, but he was like the visiting counselor for the camp. So, and like every camp has that. They have like a person who like visits from a different state. So during training, he wasn't even there actually. It was just me and these other, like the guides were picked like halfway through camp. And it was me, Azra was the counselor, but the other guides that were picked were Sheza and Eliza. Oh man, Sheza. I already talked about her a bit, because she went to my school, but I have stories about her, dude. I didn't even mention, I don't think I mentioned this. We went to school back in Jackson Elementary in 3rd grade. We had 3rd grade together. And we sat right in front of each other in 3rd grade for like the first few weeks of class. I had REC with her as well. I had a share project with her. Damn, that's a story. I gotta tell that story. I pissed her off big time on that one. I'll tell that next. I gotta write that down. Let me make sure I put it in my notes. the share project story next. Damn, I'm hungry. So yeah, that was Sheza and Eliza. This is my first time meeting Eliza. Also, she had a twin. She had a twin sister. No, she had a sister. I'm not sure if she was a twin. She looked very, very similar, but I'm still not sure. I think she was a twin though. Now, the way it works is like there's a week of training basically cumulatively, and then a week of camp. And the week of training is like spread over 3 weeks. So like every Saturday and Sunday, for 3 weeks, 2 days at a time, 6 days total. And then at the end of like the last 2 days, right after those last 2 days, the 6 day camp, the actual camp, comes immediately after that. Damn, there's a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to preface. Okay, so there's like a hierarchy of roles. So the LPT, which are I'm gonna say LPT because I'm used to that. They're like staff. They're the people at the top. They handle the entire camp. They're typically like 25, 20, around that age, you know? And then below that were the counselors, and then the guides, and then the participants at the very bottom. And that's how the hierarchy goes. So I was guide, so I was pretty low. So I guess I should talk about training first. Like the first day when I went to training, I wasn't all that interested in camp to start with, okay? Like my mom just wanted me to do it, and I was kind of upset that I was going to take up so much of my time in the summer, considering like summer 16, you know? It was like, I went on the cruise that summer, I went to ID Tech that summer, like I had a lot of stuff going on, which I'll talk about next. ID Tech and the cruise. Okay, cool. I'll add that in there as well. I just gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I don't forget these things, because I actually want to talk about these things. Especially like the summer 16 was a good summer. It was one of my favorites. Maybe 17 was better. 17 was better, and 18 was better, but 16 was really fun. So during training, yeah, I wasn't all that interested. Like, it was more obligatory for me than anything else. Like, I was like, all of my attention, all of my brain power was focused on, like, throwing car meets, developing software, watching anime, doing photography, planning out a project car, learning motion graphics, making YouTube videos, like, you know, the standard stuff. Like, I'd be hanging out with my friends, like this stuff here.
Zob is gay.
Oh, shut the fuck up, at least I can open both my eyes.
So like stuff like that. That was the kind of shit that we were doing when I was doing Mosaic. Every night when we got back, it was just Skype with the squad, and we do dumb shit. We were out here like, ooh, I gotta show this. Actually, I think I want to save all of the like brawl footage for when I like actually play Brawlhalla with the squad, because I want to do that. Oh, I can't show that. I can't show that one. But that's what we were doing. We were playing Brawl like every night. We were playing something every night, but Brawl was like a pretty common game that we would play. Damn. Do I have some? Okay, I have this. So we were legit. Look at this. We were out here on League forums or League Zone. I'm not sure. Depending on when League forums got shut down. Let me see. When did League forums get shut down? When was that? Is it down for good? League forums shut down Damn, hell no, I'm not reading all that. But yeah, I think we did get it from Leak Forums. And this was like this was one of the most iconic squad pictures ever, honestly. So for squad, we don't take pictures of each other. We take pictures of like things. We care more about things. Like I got homies that I've been friends with since like 2006, and it's 2022 right now. That like I don't even know if we have a picture together. Like just the two of us in a picture. But we were out here like stealing Hulu accounts like the skids we are. And I don't know if I'm even allowed to show this actually. It's so old. Like these guys had to have changed their passwords by now, right? Right? Fuck it. Here's the classic Summer 16 docs. This was the docs of Summer 16, bro. The docs. And this was like Faison sent it to me. Faison sent this on Snapchat. No, he's not on here. The actual dude, the dude whose actual Hulu account we use is not on there. His name on Hulu was Toby. It was like dubrain at something.com at Yahoo or gmail.com, and the password was toothless1, like from How to Train a Dragon. If that was your account, bro, if you are dubrain at gmail.com or whatever, like shout out to you, bro. If you're out there, if you're watching this, shout out to you for giving us Hulu for like Hulu Plus actually for like 3 years. You're a real one for that. Whether or not you knew we were logged in or not, because you knew somebody was logged in. You knew other people were logged in. Whether or not you knew it was us, that shit came in so clutch, dude. So clutch. Watching Law and Order and all that. Ooh, hold up. Right here. You want to see the kind of shit we were doing in Summer 16? This was Summer 16 estimated revenue. This was, man, I remember when this happened. I was like kind of upset that it dropped off, but I brought it back up. This is a very small, like if you look in the grand scheme of things, it looked more like this spike right here was more like, didn't, and then it went up and it did whatever. But yeah, this is what I was working with in 2016. That's not even when junior year started yet. I had literally taken like the dream job of everyone else in the whole world. I had shit going on, dude. I had like boss shit. So like needless to say, I wasn't really down to like participate in all of this like Mosaic stuff. I wasn't really interested in all that. I was just gonna do the bare minimum. I was gonna have fun, but my fun was gonna be kind of like alone, kind of contained. I didn't need to share my fun with everybody else. So the first day of training comes, right? Icebreakers, meeting people, this sort of thing, you know. It was a lot more intimate than this most of the time. Actually, no, not on the first training day. The first training day was just like pretty crammed, actually. Also, I should say, I'm really bad with names. And I recently learned I'm bad with faces. At the time, everyone just thought I didn't pay attention, and I thought the same thing. Apparently, I have symptoms of a much larger issue looming, potentially down the line, and it scares me that I can't remember like how I ended up in the situation that I'm in right now, or memories that I made with friends like a year ago that I see on my Snapchat memories. Like it all just disappears from my mind. And retaining things implicitly it's not like a difficult thing to do, but it's a challenge when I want to do it intentionally. Like I end up taking the most random shit and just burning into my memory. And it's not even stuff that I actually need to remember. It's just, it's the most arbitrary information, actually. But maybe it was the fact that at the time I knew, like, after camp, I'm never going to see any of them again. It's funny because we took a personality test during training, and we all shared our findings. And these personality tests are stupid anyways. Like, people are not the best judges of themselves. Especially when given, like, not really the best questions. the whole concept of using a quiz to judge personality seems like a wasted effort. But I digress. Maybe there could be a much better quiz. I know there's like the whole you can judge people based on the big five: openness, conscientiousness, extrovertedness, agreeableness, and neuroticism. But that's not what these tests are. The Myers Briggs and all that stuff. That's not what these do. Like these like mainstream personality tests. I want to talk about this actually like on a different day, but it's literally just for people to feel special. So I did, like they told us to do it, so I did the tests. I did like 4 of them, I think, 4 different ones, and they're all like. It's not like any of them have a proper standard for how they do things, because, like, the results you get with this like 4-letter result is kind of stupid. It's kind of oversimplifying it. It's like astrology. It's just meant for people to feel special. So I got ENTP on 2 of the tests, and I got INTP on the 2 other. I was actually pretty solid on my responses, because I took them all in the same mindset. I took them all like back to back, and it was like dispersed across them. But I couldn't really decide if I was introverted or extroverted. Like personality tests, at least like these stupid ones, at least have the common sense to realize that like the actual definitions of introverted and extroverted don't mean shit in relation to how social you are. However, the questions that they use to make their conclusion often involve shit about how social you are. Like I was extroverted at the time, and I'm introverted now, and it changes like every like 5 years or so. Back then it did. I don't suspect it'll change anymore. If it'll change, it'll change one more time, but I think that's it for me. It's just that it just so happened that growing up, there were some moments that led me to force myself to be alone and enjoy being alone and get used to it. That there were moments where like I was forced to be by myself. And then there were also moments where I was just pressured heavily into I couldn't go a day without hanging out with friends, you know? And I guess I just adapted. And I learned to draw my energy from those places. See, I think everyone's actually like this. I think I'm nothing special. I'll leave a link in the description to I talked about this before about extrovertedness and introvertedness, if that's even like a legit thing that people consider it as colloquially, which clinically, yeah, it is, but it's not in the way people think it is. But it's just a shame that these tests don't like take that kind of stuff into account. Also, I think these tests in general just like fuck up their whole like the judgment versus perception trait. Like that's complete BS. Like you can ask the same people. To perceive is to judge a situation. But I digress. So when we took the personality test, actually, I was like, again, I was not really all that attentive. I was not giving it my all, you know. So when I told them I was extroverted, just to subvert them, they all thought I was introverted. They were like going around taking guesses. Oh, you're this, you're this. But they were right in a sense when they called me introverted, because their thought was like, introverted means you're shy. You don't plan on getting involved socially in the situation. They were right about that. So the first day of training goes by. It starts early, it ends late. And this girl, this is an important thing you gotta remember. This is a girl who I could tell stories about, bro. Ariba Lakhani. She invites all of the counselors and the guides to a sleepover. And there's like 30 of us. It's pretty big. This is after the first training day. I have a Snapchat from it, actually. Let me... Here, look. Is this it? That's Aruba right there. That was the movie Hush in the background. That, damn, it's way too hard to see. But yeah, there was quite a few more people there. By that time that we were upstairs in this area, everybody had already left. But downstairs there were quite a few more people. Actually, even before that, there were way more people. It was like hella people in the driveway and stuff like that. So many people showed up. They stayed for like an hour and they left. But this was like the remaining people. We were going to do a sleepover. By the way, it's against the rules to do a sleepover or to do any of that shit. Because like, they know, and we know too, that if you do a sleepover, like the LPT knows, you're going to stay up the same way we did. And you'll be late showing up the next day. Which we were. We were late. Like, they were absolutely right. So what happens is, it's well known that you're not allowed to do that. Like, they tell us the rules very early on, no sleepovers. So Ariba makes a separate group chat. Like, we have a group chat, okay? And she makes a separate one. Like, the first one is like Camp Mosaic 2016 Camp 1 or Camp A or whatever it is. And then Ariba makes a group chat that's Camp Mosaic 2016 without LPT. That's the name of the group chat. Something like that. It was like W/out or something like that, the shorthand of it. So I wasn't going to go. I had shit to do. Obviously, I was making money out here, But Ishan convinced me to go. So I get a ride with him and we show up. And, there's like s'mores and shit, but it gets finished once we got there. Like, she had like a little like kickback in the beginning before like the sleepover, basically. It like transitioned into that, but there was a lot more people there. It turned into a much more intimate thing. There's a lot more people there in the beginning. But we were like going around playing with the football, catching Pokemon throughout the neighborhood. This was like, during this camp was like the peak of Pokemon Go right here. When we were upstairs, we told like scary stories and shit. Now, some of the older counselors in the camp, like the 20-year-olds and stuff like that, like they knew me since I was really little. Like they were friends with my older brother, and they basically knew me since like before I was even consciously forming memories. My whole life, basically. And a lot of my brother's friends were there. There was Ariz, Rayhan, Sami, Azam, and Oez, and Ichan. All in one camp. That's kind of crazy when I think about it. I didn't think anything of it back then. I was just like, hey, just these guys. We live in Atlanta, of course it's these guys. But that's like really coincidental when I really look at it. Like, I still occasionally see all these guys. Except I haven't seen Ariz in quite a while. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. But even then, it's only been a couple of years. But these guys always, and all my brother's friends, they always like treated me like the way you would treat like a little brother of a member of the crew, Like they would like try to like raise me in their own little way, in very minor ways and stuff. They would like always like back me up. Like if I was ever getting bullied, it wasn't just my brother who would go beat the guy up. It was everyone. So these guys, like, despite me not really wanting to put any mental energy into participating, because I got to save my mental energy for, the shit I got going on, for like the business stuff I got going on, they were like really trying to involve me in stuff, especially Ishan and Sami and them. Like they were really out here, like they were trying. They were telling scary stories about me and like funneling all the attention my way, to the point where by the end of the night, pretty much everyone knew who I was. Like they did all the work for me. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Screw having my mind on photography and software and cars for right now, While I'm here, I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna put my brain power into what I'm doing right now. And it was really cool of Ariba to do this, by the way. Ariba was one of the funniest people I knew growing up. She told me she got class clown in her school. She got that as the superlative, which is like not surprising to me. Like, usually you don't find girls who are this funny. You don't find anyone who's this funny, actually. She was like one of the boys, bro. You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me a lot of how Cutie Cinderella acts. Like, if you took Cutie Cinderella and you made her 2 or 3 times funnier, that's how Ariba is in my mind. She was as much of a class clown as me and my friends. As much of, like, she was right there with us back when we were all kids. But one day, I don't know. I don't know if it was a slow transition. It's like very fuzzy memories, but she just like stopped cracking jokes. She stopped being chill the way she used to. She stopped talking to all of us. It's like she just like stopped being a kid. She like stopped. She started taking everything so seriously, you know. She would dress like, she would legit dress like a woman in her 30s. It was so weird because we were like 9 years old at the time. We were like 8 or 9 years old, and it was like, I was so shocked. Like, what happened? So like, this was way after that. We were both we were in the same age group, so we were both 16 at the time that we did this camp. So I wasn't gonna say anything to her about it. You know, some time had passed, and she had started doing YouTube a couple years after I started it, and naturally she did way better than me, right? Understandable. But after a while she stopped. I guess like, I don't know, her views were really down, and her motivation, I think, was the views. But I can't say for sure, that's just my guess, I don't know. I never stopped. No matter how low my views were, no matter how much of a struggle it was to do YouTube, it never affected my motivation in the slightest. Like, it never affected my motivation to make videos. It affected my motivation to upload and stuff like that, but making videos, I was always recording and always editing. But yeah, Ariba Lakhani. I wonder if I can get back in touch with her. See, despite being very iffy with me, I'll always have her back. If she ever decides to get back into YouTube, best believe I'm helping her out. Now, at this point, like, in the camp, like right now, but in the camp, in the video that I showed you, there is no iffiness between us. It was just like right here. Like, that's her. We were just all chill. There was no iffiness between me and anybody in that camp. As far as I was concerned, actually, she completely forgot who I was. And like, keep this in mind for later, okay? Keep this whole thing, this whole story I just told you in mind. Oh, and also, I met up with Inara Ali. This dude, bro. This girl, but like, dude is gender neutral. So, she lived in my house for like 10 seconds. I think I talked about her before on stream. She, when I met her, she was just as skinny as I remembered. But it was cool to see her again. She was a guide. I think she was a group guide, if I'm not mistaken. I thought for real her whole like life was in shambles, considering like the situation with her parents and all that. But yeah, I guess she was doing okay. So if I haven't talked about her before, I think I mentioned her, but I don't think I talked about the story of like when she lived at our place, and she was like a foster sister for like a little while. But I'll tell that story one day. So I get picked as the swim guide, okay? Now, like, the logistics for camp can be like really hectic and stuff. Everyone has to do their part. And this was like a new team that was doing it. And they didn't really like have that much experience doing this stuff. But it's like, this is very, you have to be strict if you want everything to go right in camp. Because like, there are no substitutes for the roles. Like, everybody has a very essential role and nobody can miss out on it. You can't get sick. So they had these rules in place, like no sleepovers, no showing up late, no missing even a day of training. And also, you had to tell them your carpool situation. You can't just like ride with whoever, and just show up in a car when you said that you'd be riding with somebody else. So I was riding with Ishan, and that's what I told them I'd be doing. So that's what I did for like 2 days, like the first 2 days. Naturally, we were breaking all the rules here, so it didn't last long. But I believe after I got into swim, after I became a swim guide, we met up at Ezra's house. Maybe it was Eliza's house. I'm not sure. And we made T-shirts. We like bleached them. We painted them and all that. I still have it. I'll show it. I'll get my webcam next stream or a couple streams from now. I'll get my webcam and I'll show it. But yeah, I was just chilling. I was enjoying my time at the time. I was still hard focused on like having a productive summer, but when I was with the swim team, I shift my focus, and I would always ask them for stories that they had. I would ask Eliza for stories. I didn't need any stories about Sheza since I like knew her since we were little, but I asked Azra and like Nida for stories as well. And they're sisters. Did I mention that? I know I didn't mention that, but I was really I was attentive. At this point, I was attentive to what was going on. By the way, I can't swim for shit. In fact, I don't even know if I could float anymore in the water. Like, it's really bad. But they picked us like randomly. They didn't know that I couldn't swim. I did learn how, like, very quickly, because I took classes when I was little, and I just practiced the like, technique. I just trusted the process, but I don't know if I could do it intuitively. And remember how I said I had earlier? I said I had like bad memories of the cold showers when I was a participant. Well, this time I knew like that was gonna change. I took mostly warm showers. But being the swim guide, you have to spray water on all the participants one by one to like clean them off of all the chlorine so that they can like go to the lockers, dry up, and change. So I was gonna have to deal with a lot of cold water on my skin. And surprisingly, I got used to it. In fact, even like to this day, I could still take a cold shower and it wouldn't be a problem. Like that stayed with me. That still stayed with me. You don't need to like if you wanna do it, you don't think about like, okay, I need to go in slowly or I need to go in quickly. Just as long as you go in, you're all good. Like the way I would recommend, if you want to take a cold shower, the way I'd recommend doing it is like just to try it out, you don't have to do this, but just try it out. Put your hand in the water until it gets warm. Like, you know how your body adjusts, like you put your hand in cold water and then it feels warm after a while. And make sure you just like breathe like slowly. And you'll probably want to start shivering if the water is cold enough. You don't have to make it that cold. Just make it like a little less cold than like normal water, cold in room temperature. But let yourself shiver, right? Do whatever you got to do, but like breathe deeply. And then once the shivering is slowed down, or control your breath. And once you stop shivering, or just shiver very little, then put your whole arm in, and do the same thing. And you'll shiver much less when you've already went in a little bit. And then you put your shoulder. And once your shoulder's in, you can go all in. You can put your back in there and just go all in. And the key to doing this, I think, is to take long and deep breaths. Not like long, actually, that's not, maybe, but just breathe properly and don't let the cold water screw up your breathing. If you do that, you'll be fine. That's what works for me, okay? I'm sure there's some science to corroborate at least somewhat of what I said. Maybe there's some Wim Hof method of breathing that you could like easily look up. But try it though. There's no harm in it. They have that phase like, don't try this at home. Nah, like do try this at home. And you might as well give it a shot, So I spent a lot of time in these showers. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, in training. That was during the camp. So in training, um, we had some fun moments. Doing little skits, uh, making chants, eating out outside as a tribe. The mosh pits, the like those mosh pits, were like breaking boundaries and shit like that. But the highlight of camp was the sleepovers. Not just like the training, the highlight of camp in general. Every single training day, we would meet up at somebody else afterwards. The first one was Ariba's, and then the next person, I don't remember, and then it was the next person, and so on. Um, I went to so many people's houses, bro. It was hard to even remember who, like, one by one. Oh, I should also um, preface this. I should talk about the Hong Kong situation. So Hong Kong means shout out. Okay, just to preface this. So at the end of the day, each day of training and camp, I believe, we would do this thing where they would pass out sticky notes. Where we can go to the front, we could take sticky notes. We could write on there in Sharpie like, "Oh, Hong Kong to this person for doing this awesome thing." Then we give it back to the LPTs, and we all like sit in a circle or whatever, sit debrief, whatever it ends up being, and the LPTs read out them all like one by one. It's like a team building exercise or something. I don't know. Well, they read out the appropriate ones at least. They left out some of the good ones. Um, so on the first day, I got no Hong Kongs. Not that I was upset about it. I mean, like I wasn't active. I wasn't going for. I wasn't putting any mental energy into it. I knew I was. I was not surprised by it. But remember this Hong Kong thing for later. Okay, remember this. Like keep that in the back of your head. So. Oh yeah, I have okay. On the second day of training, I was riding with Ishan, and we're on the highway, and this dude pulled up, and he wanted to race us. So he revs, and he revs his car. Well, I race us, so we beat him. And then you know how like when you race somebody, you beat them, you go way past them, so you hit the brakes, you slow down a bit, go back to speed limit, go back to 5/10 over whatever, and then they keep going, so that they can in their minds, like, somewhat pretend to they can convince their like stupid ass minds, like, oh, I actually won. Their car slowed down, even though they clearly saw your brake lights. So many people do that when they're racing, when they're kids. Oh, I clearly won. I went past you. No, just going past someone doesn't mean you won. We start off at a roll. We start off at a 60, 80 roll, whatever it is, and you lost. So we slow down. We don't care. It's not worth it for us. This dude, Ishan, is in a, I don't know if it was lowered or not, but it was a G37 coupe. You know, the basic, like, smoked lights, Plasti Dip logo, Plasti Dip wheels, that sort of thing. It's okay. So this dude, that was the dude we were racing. So he goes way ahead, and then he gets pulled over. Like, we race, we win, and then he gets pulled over. It's okay.
Wait until it's over.
Well, that was a funny moment right there. But I didn't ride with him for that long. After this point, I did ride with him like later on throughout the camp and things like that. But it wasn't like I was like carpooling with him. I would just get rides from hella people. I never drove myself even once. I could have, but I never did. But basically what I did is I had a bag, and I had one pair of jeans in there. I had 3 pairs of swimming shorts, and I had 1 pair of boxers, which was a stupid idea. I should have had more. But, and I had my toothbrush, and that's it. I didn't have toothpaste. I didn't have a t-shirt. I didn't have socks. I didn't have anything else, legit anything else. I didn't have my charger or anything either. But I didn't need a lot of that stuff. I basically only wore my swimming shorts anyways. I didn't even wear the jeans the majority of the time throughout the camp. Like, we would like, the way it would work is like we'd wake up at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever. I'd be in swimming shorts when I woke up. We would get to camp, so I'd be ready from the start. Everybody else would take time to get ready, not me. I would just keep it on. We'd do all of our camp activities. I would dry my shorts. I'd wear them on the ride to someone else's house, and then I'd go sleep there, only to change swimming shorts again the next morning. By the way, I found out like the best way to dry your swimming shorts. And I still have those swimming shorts. I still keep them in my bag. Literally, wherever I go, I'm always ready. Like, I only have a few things in my bag that I take like as my daily carry. One of them is swimming shorts. I don't even carry like boxers or anything like that, or any of that. But I always carry swimming shorts, no matter where I'm at. I'm always prepared. But I was experimenting with a lot of different ways to dry your shorts because you have to do it several times throughout the day. And I figured out the most efficient way. Like all of this, like rubbing your shorts with a towel and all stuff, doesn't really do very much. There's two ways I'd recommend. Like, the less efficient way is to first like you dry off your upper body, and then you take your towel and you wrap it in between your legs, and you wrap it around, you wrap it in between, whatever you squeeze. You like do like a hip abduction, not hip extension, knee flexion and or not knee, I don't know what it is, but you do hip inward and outward and basically do those like dynamic stretches that you would do if you plan on doing a hip abduction type of exercise, working out glutes basically. You basically work out glutes while you have the towel wrapped around your legs like a resistance band basically. And if you apply pressure like that, it works the same way as like when you like wring out clothes to like wring out all the moisture out of it. But that's the best way if you have no sunlight. If you have sunlight, you stand in the sun. That's the best way to do it. Because it really like, it dries it. It doesn't just get rid of the water inside it. It gets rid of all the moisture. It dries it completely. Gets rid of all the humidity around you too. So we had our camp at Emory University in Georgia. So the pool was this where we enter? I don't know if this is, no, wait, I'm so stupid. Okay, wait. No, this is all hella familiar. Wait, is this where we went to? Because I did ID Tech here too. So it's like, damn, this looks way nicer than when I went. No, this is where we did Frisbee in ID Tech. Emory University. Okay, yeah. I recognize all this. I recognize this. Don't recognize any of, damn, some of this looks like completely modern, like redesigned. Wait. Emory University, lobby. Emory University pool. Okay, yeah. So this was it. This is how it looked. So back there, if you go to the left, you go to the locker area. This was like the 16 feet area. This is where we were. Yeah. Okay, this is it. Yeah. So way over there. That's where the lockers are. That's how you get to the lockers. So this pool is on the bottom floor, by the way, and the locker rooms are also on the bottom floor. Let me. Emory University lockers. Damn, where is like the whatever. Okay, so I'll just show this picture. So the way it works is like there's this is like the very bottom floor, and you leave out here, and there's like a huge area down there where there's like nothing else around. There's like lockers, and then you leave the lockers, and there's nothing else around over there. It's like just the pool, and I'm sure there's other stuff down there, but it was like during summer, like everything else was like closed and all that stuff. Basically, while we were there was nothing else going on in the entire floor. There was the occasional swimmer who would like come in back and forth, who had their stuff in the lockers. They would go use the laundry machines, dry their clothes, whatever. But it was like infrequent. You know, it only happened like 5 or 6 times throughout the entire camp that we were there. But anybody who's seen Emory University or been there knows what I'm talking about. There's like a huge area with tons of space. And I still remember how it was like completely isolated from everything. I remember how it felt, how like open it felt. Because the pool is like crazy. The pool is like an Olympic pool, and like even when you're outside of it, there's like so much of a chlorine smell in the air. And I would walk out with like, I'd be wearing dry clothes with like wet hair. After like, you know, after you swim for a while, you're like hungry and all that. I'd walk out like that, like stomach growling. The vibe, like I didn't have any shoes or socks on, because like we were there the whole day. I didn't need to wear them until the end where we had to leave, and I could still feel like the smell of the air, the openness, the carpet between my toes. Like I would run around there. It was such a vibe, dude. It was such a vibe. That was the spot. But the outside area, like the outside pool, outside the pool locker area, that's like, you won't know that vibe until you've been there. It's a totally unique vibe. I haven't experienced that kind of vibe anywhere else. But everybody else, we were the only ones there, by the way. I think that's what made it such a crazy vibe. It's like everybody else was on the top floors, and it was only the swim team that was on the bottom. So because we had our own privacy there, and they told us, oh, we're only going to use these lockers, but none of the other lockers are being used, so I could keep all my stuff in the rest of the lockers that we weren't allowed to use. But nobody would notice. Like it's nothing to worry about. Literally nobody else was there. We had the whole place to ourselves. Like, bro, I would yell and shit and like dance, because like nobody else was around, and the girls took forever to get ready and to dry themselves. So I had like a couple hours a day where I had like basically half a football field of carpeted area all to myself. Giant ceiling. Actually, the ceiling was gone. Like, it showed the upper